Well, I was born and raised in Africa, so when you live there, everyone does it basically. So when I was about 7 years old, we used to have a neighbor who used to live next to us, and she used to do hair. So I used to go over and watch her, and I asked her to teach me how to do it, and she told me that it wasn't something that you could teach basically. If you wanted to learn how to do hair, you have to just sort of watch what she does. So that's what I did. I used to go over and watch her, and yeah, that's how I learned from the age of 7 years old.
Well, I'm self-employed, so I don't work for someone, which makes things a bit more challenging because when you're working for someone, you know how much you're earning. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just come to work and then you get your wages. But then when you're running your own business, you're in charge of everything, supplies. You're in charge of finding your own clients and stuff like that. And it's not as reliable because if you're self-employed, if you don't get customers, you don't get paid basically. It's one of those where you have to be patient with it, especially when you're still starting out, because it doesn't just start out well and you get clients immediately and you start making money. You have to build up your clientele slowly. So it's like an investment, both time wise and financially and emotionally, I guess, as well, because it's your own business, and obviously with everything that you're doing, you want it to thrive. So it's not easy, but it's worth it. It depends what it is that's being done, to be honest. Each hairstyle has a different level of difficulty, and it will take each person a different amount of time to learn as well. And myself particularly, I was quite interested in it, so I learned quite fast. I did, but I was young when I learned, so I didn't have many people whose hair to do, or many people to practice on basically. So I didn't actually properly start until I was about 10 years old. Again, it varies with what hairstyle you're doing. So there are some simpler hairstyles. For example, if people just get in a couple of Dutch braids or something like that, that would just take 10-20 minutes because there's just two braids. Whereas if we're doing like a whole head of braids, single plaits, that would take up to 8 hours depending on how long the hair is. Per day, I would say an average of about 6 clients a day, depending on how long the hairstyles take to do. So if I'm having one of those single plaits which takes up to 8 hours, then I will probably have a maximum of 2 or 3 clients a day. Whereas if I have short ones, or those that take less time, let's say 2 hours or something like that, yeah, per day I would have an average of about six clients, I would say. Different textures of hair. I do Caucasian hair, I do Afro hair, I get Asian people coming as well. So initially, obviously having been born and raised in Africa, I learned on Afro hair, which it makes it harder to sort of braid other types of hair, because Afro hair is very coarse and it holds on to braiding quite well, whereas more straighter hair, it's harder to plait because it's more slippery, and then when it's actually braided, the hair tends to loosen up and the braids come out. So it was a challenge learning how to do it on different textures of hair, but I can do it now, and that's just all due to experience and just practicing. My prices, they vary from hairstyle to hairstyle. So when you're paying, essentially you pay for time rather than for a hairstyle. So depending on how much time a hairstyle takes, that's how much I will charge. So I would try and make it an average of about £10 an hour. Yes, I think my prices are very affordable. Actually, I work in Easton on Stapleton Road, which is very popular for hair salons and sort of black culture, and there are about 4 Afro-Caribbean hairdressers on our road, and out of all of them, I have the most affordable prices, because I understand that not everyone can afford having that salon look, but people still do want to look nice. Well, it's all about what the customer wants. The customer is always right. So whatever they ask for, as a hairdresser, I can suggest if I have any ideas that would look better, or anything that would look a bit better than what they want. When you're running a business like that, what happens is that if you force your opinion on a customer and they end up not being happy with the results, then they will come back to you and blame you for it. So I have learned in my experience, the customer is always right. You do whatever they ask for, unless they ask you for your opinion. Where I work, it's a very big Muslim community, and myself, I come from a Christian background. It tends to be more Islam and Christianity, to be honest. I don't think I've met anyone from any other religious background. But obviously there are different sects within Christianity as well, and Islam as well. But I think where I work, my salon and everything, it tends to be quite diverse. We get all types of people from all around the world walking into our salon. You know, we get Middle Eastern people, African people, American people, European people. So my clientele tends to be quite wide. It's very people get to me through, mostly they come to the shop and they tend to meet me in person. This business runs a lot through word of mouth, but however, I do have social media. I have an Instagram page, as I've mentioned, and that's also linked to a Facebook page. I'm working on a website right now, a personal website, and also just my mobile number, which is 075 973 94399.